What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Resident Casuals. Today we've got a post-game little breakdown for Resi 3. So Shaun, I'm here with Shaun because you are the one who played it. How you doing, dude?
Yeah, man, sounds, yeah. Being off work because I might have the Rona, but I'm all good, I'm all good.
Nothing to laugh at, just the way that you said it.
It's funny, it's... No, I'm fine, we can laugh because I'm fine.
Yeah.
It's just that I had like a little like chest thing on Friday, so that's all it is, but that was a week ago, so yeah, we can laugh, we can make jokes about it at my expense, it's okay.
Yeah, especially when we're talking about Resi, which is
Infection,
all about viruses and
yeah,
infections.
yeah. It's topical.
Yeah, that's exactly it, yeah. But, well, so to get straight into it, so you've played the first Resi, is that right? So you played the original Resi 3.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Okay, cool. So what is your like with comparison to the first? How did you feel about this game?
Um, I
Did you have story changes if there was any, and like the pacing wise?
so Resident Evil 3, the original, it was more. So Resident Evil 1, let's go like from the beginning. Resident Evil 1 was straight up like horror, and then 2 was still a bit of horror but more actiony, and then Resident Evil 3 was like a third horror and the rest actiony.
Right.
It gave you the ability to like start off with a machine gun. So even though you were chased by the Nemesis and like there was loads of other little monsters around the city, you were quite, I found, aptly supplied with weapons, whereas like Resident Evil 1, you'd sometimes just run out of ammo if you didn't do it well, whereas in Resident Evil 3 it never really felt that way, so it was more actiony and it was more favourable to the player, whereas the remake, I'd say it done a good job of continuing that feel between 2 and 3. Story wise, it was weird because it had the same characters, but they were like put in different beats, in like different beats of the story. So you start off in Resi 3, the original, and some fella jumps in the back of a truck and says, I've just seen my daughter be murdered, I'm not coming out. And where that happens is basically the beginning of the game, where your save point is, and you keep coming back to that because there's little things to collect and drop off and all that. At some point in the game, you go back and that fella's turned into a zombie, and you kill him and stuff. In the remake, you kind of like just pass through that section. You literally see him go into the back, he shuts the door, and then you move on, and you never see him again. And that's kind of like quite simple.
The gun store.
No, that's Kendo. That's another fella. This is in the original. It was kind of like a truck depot, and right. I think that's how it's made up in the remake. But you never go back to that. I mean, the same with Kendo's shop, to be fair, and this truck, you never go back, and that's kind of how the game is. You get these glimpses of characters like Mikhail in the original. You kind of see him quite a few times, and you have some run-ins with him. Whereas in this one, it's that's not really the case. He's kind of just a bit player, and you see him I think he's on screen for a couple of minutes. It feels very strange, and the pacing is so quick. That's probably the biggest thing. I know obviously the originals, they were very tanky the way you moved, but the pacing and how you moved, you said it yourself, how you move through the map when you've watched me, you just zip right through. And I was trying my best to explore everywhere, and I was very much in a Resident Evil mindset of going back and checking places but you didn't really need to do that. It was very point A to B and then back to A. There was no B, C, D, back to A, the way the original Resident Evil's was. So the pace was quick, and similar beats and similar characters, but I mean, it was a total remake, a total rewrite, basically, compared to like Resident Evil 2. Yeah, it was a remake from the ground up, but the story beats were almost identical. Whereas 3, that wasn't the case at all. Not the case at all. You'd still have surprises in Resident Evil 3, even if you played the originals.
So would you say that it would have been a bit better if they had like a few more secret doors or something like that to go and have a look at, or would you say that's not really in the Resi style? Or
no, 100%. Yeah, I mean, so the original Resi 3, when there'd be like these mad puzzles in like the middle of the park, it was very unrealistic, because Resi 1 and 2, they made a point of having these crazy puzzles, and that was woven into the narrative. So like Resident Evil 1, the reason why all the weird puzzles were there is because it was like that was Umbrella's mansion, so it was all weird because that's the way they are. Resident Evil 2, all the little puzzles there was because of Chief Irons and because he was just a nutter, so that made sense. Whereas in Resident Evil 3, it was an entire city, so it was harder to weave that into the story and make it believable. So in Resident Evil 3, I think because they were worried that it would come off as a bit silly, they just like swerved all those types of puzzles off and just had a bunch of lockpicks and bolt cutters. The one puzzle they kept in was the clock face thing where you put the gems in, but you didn't need to do that. Right. That was just for a little extra bit of inventory, effectively.
Yeah, because I was going to say, because watching how you did it, if from memory, if it serves right, do you have to get 3 gems, or was it 4 gems?
Three, yeah.
3 gems, and you only got 2, and then it just opened up anyway.
So in this one, so I've replayed it, and I've collected all 3 gems, and all it was an extra hip pouch, which is amazing. But there was no nothing to do with the story, no cool lore, or like an extra key that gets you into the back of Kendo's shop to get like a grenade, a rocket launcher, nothing like that. Whereas in Resident Evil 3, that same puzzle was to get through this door, which you end up in like some petrol station. So I think the reason why they just got rid of that is just for realism's sake. But it didn't. Right, okay. For a Resident Evil game, you don't really like. Raccoon City is meant to be like this weird place anyway. So I wouldn't have been bothered if they included that, but I understood why they made that decision.
Yeah, like from quite a few people that I've heard of, which leads into my next question. So the level design. So a few people have said like they quite enjoyed the fact that it was a quicker game, and so with that in mind, so it being a quicker game and the pacing and it was being faster. How did you feel about like level design? Did it feel right? So I know we've talked about it, but actually like going per level. So say for instance, like you started off in Raccoon City, and then you went to the train,
sewer thing,
you went to the sewers, then you went to that, then you went to the power station, which is covered in breathing goop. You know what I mean? So like certain. So like, how did you feel for each stage? Did you like the level design itself, like the art direction? How did that feel for you for the remake?
So it looked great. It really did, and I definitely felt like kind of in the city, but I wanted more of it, and I wanted the pace was. I could go either way. Like I enjoyed the pace. Like the pace felt good because you were being chased by the Nemesis, but I wanted more of the city, like the sewer section. I think I don't know. I wanted.
Done to death.
Yeah. I just wanted more of the city. I felt like it just got it was in such a small part of the game. Whereas from my memory, the original Resident Evil 3, you spent so much in the city, and there was so many places like the restaurants, There was like an outside shopping precinct. There was the park, the petrol station, and in each of these areas there was these cool little cutscenes, like the one in the petrol station. I think you find Carlos in there, and then the zombies find you, and you end up blowing the petrol station up because the zombies break into it. And there was a bit with this where you've come across the Nemesis, and you're going across this bridge, and you knock the Nemesis off the bridge, and there was all these cool little levels and sections. There was a bit where that's it. This bit which was huge. I proper digged it in the original Resident Evil 3. You were going through this little park, and the ground starts shaking, and you get brought underground, and it's like this massive worm thing, like off Tremors. Have you ever seen the film Tremors?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like it's basically like a tremor that's attacking you, and you have to it pops out of these holes in underground, and you shoot in the holes, and it was like this cool little section, and that wasn't in 3 at all, and I just felt like it missed a lot, and it could have, like, because I finished the game in, like, I think it was 7.5 hours, and I don't remember Resident Evil 2 being that much longer. I think that might have been like 9, but again, like the police station in there still felt like a large portion of the game. So so the pacing was fine. The thing I would say about the level design was a bit more of the city and a bit more backtracking I was looking for. I think I just it felt more of a mix of, say, like Resident Evil 4 and 5. It felt that it belonged to more of them rather than 1 and 2. Yeah,
right, okay.
I'd say it leans towards the new gen rather than the old gen. Whereas Resident Evil 2, it's done a really great job of upgrading the graphics and level design, doing all those things, but still making it feel like an original.
Right, okay, that's cool. So that leads me on pretty much perfectly into characters and enemies. How did you feel about that? And then I might as well throw this question as well. With characters and enemies, how did your weapons and your controller feel? Like, did it feel updated? Was it like when you had the controller in your hand, was it like rumbling when you wanted it to, or even the sound effects and everything like that? And working with the characters and the enemies, the dialogue, how did you feel about that? And especially in like weapon, like you're playing with your weapons, like your gunplay, was that worth it? Like, does that all feel good?
All great, yeah, loved it. Yeah, it was perfect. It's not bad at all about how it played, like the actual gameplay, like blowing off zombies' heads and everything was just great. There was the section where I'm like running away from things, and I think Nemesis is chasing me, and it happens loads. So my tactic was just to whip out the shotgun and blow zombies' heads off that are in my way, and that just felt great. Like, just destroying zombies was just amazing. I brought up a few times. I did feel like it was, that was my phone. Sorry, I did feel like it was in a bit of a downgrade though, because in 2, when you'd stab zombies, you'd be able to cut the limbs off and stuff, and see where your knife would cut across them. Whereas in 3, in this one, that wasn't there. So I'd say it was 9.5 out of 10, and that 0.5 was just because of the knife and not being able to cut zombies' limbs off. That was the only thing. But besides that, it was spot on. Yeah, superb. Loved it.
Right, okay, so you being so hyped up on that then, so that would definitely, so I'd imagine that means that does this make you super excited for the remakes as well as Village?
Oh yeah, man, defo. Like, yeah, I mean, I've loved every Resident Evil except 6. So yeah, and I felt like 6, they pushed that kind of style as far as they could go. 5 was literally like the tipping point. It became a bit of a meme. about how actiony it is, and then 6 they kind of just ruined it. But it was yeah, I'm looking forward to anything that they do at Resident Evil now. I think they've done a great job with these remakes, so yeah, the more the merrier. I hope they do Code Veronica, I hope they do Zero, I hope they do all of them, yeah.
Yeah, because I was just thinking that, like, I mean, towards the end of the interview anyway, like, this is I'm asking the questions of someone who's never played a Resident Evil game. I've watched them, I've never actually played them, so the story to me is kind of lost.
That's
but
insane, by the way.
I do enjoy watching them. It's just like a bit interesting. So would that mean that they're up to date with remakes, effectively, besides what the ones that you just said?
Yeah, so like in terms of like the main ones, because you can't really remake 4. I wouldn't want to see a remake of that. A remaster could be fine. But I'm happy. I'm like, I'd rather go along with Village. If they want to remake Veronica, which I think is needed because Veronica wasn't that great, if they remade Veronica and Zero, I'd definitely buy them. I wouldn't hesitate at all. If they keep it in the same vein as 2 and 3, I'd absolutely buy them, because for Code Veronica, it was a weird game because it was on the Dreamcast as well. It did feel very strange. If that style felt aged with Veronica, with 3, it was like the pinnacle. It was like you couldn't get any better than that. Zero done it well, but like Veronica was just like, it didn't feel good at all. And I think the year after that, or the 2 years after that, Resident Evil 4 was out and just totally revolutionised the survival horror genre. Yeah, Veronica felt very aged, so I would like to see a remake of Veronica. Be happy for that.
Cool. Well then, so going back slightly to finish up here. So do you think is this game engrossing enough or enticing for you enough to go back and platinum it, maybe? Like, do you have a desire to go back and do it all over again?
You know what I'd say? I have started to replay it, and I think I will do, because there's things that I missed out that I want to pick up on. With they've got like these little they've got this little system in where you get points through playing the game, and these points give you unlocks. So like you can unlock a rocket launcher with infinite ammo, and you do that by doing these challenges that are built into the game. So I think I will replay it more. I'll cut that out. Yeah, I think I will go back and replay it more. I don't think I'll platinum it, because there's like those mad platinums where like you okay now. Rona. There's like these little moments. There's these trophies that are like only open your chest once throughout the entire game, and I just couldn't be bothered doing that because that's just ridiculous. So yeah, I don't think I'll platinum it. I might replay it a bit, but yeah, I don't know. I definitely replayed 3, like the original, loads, and Resident Evil 2. I replayed them so many times. But yeah, I don't see myself replaying this one as much. It's just too short and too it's just like it's too short and too quick paced to like absorb anything and stay. Like you'd have to play them to truly understand what I mean. But a big thing that I will have to say as soon as I stop time. One thing. I know, yeah. One thing I will say is that the atmosphere wasn't as good. The atmosphere in the original was so much better, so much more tense. I don't think you've.
Would you say that because that was the first time you were playing it, it was more tense, and now that you've gone effectively on a Resi remake binge, would that have maybe uh, hindered your experience with it, or?
Well, I don't think you've seen the episode yet, but Carlos, you control Carlos, and you're in a hospital for a period, and
I read the plot, yeah.
yeah, and that bit was amazing. Like that bit was like the best part in the game. It was because it was so tense, and so and you do a lot of backtracking. You do a lot. It's so Resident Evil. That section is so Resident Evil. So I just think it's the pacing of the game and kind of the atmosphere of the game takes that it takes that tension away. Whereas in the hospital, the atmosphere's there, the tension's there, and the whole thing is perfect. That hospital section, I'd replay the game just to re-experience that hospital section bit. It's so good. It's like perfect. It's like the best point in the game, and I can't wait for you to watch it, because just for my reactions and stuff in it, it's funny, but yeah,
I can imagine me watching it on the train as I usually do, and then try not to throw my phone. At the
oh
old
man,
lady
yeah,
from me.
it'll happen,
Yeah.
and it's oh man, I don't know what it is exactly what they do. I think it's because you're in a confined building. There's a lot of things that you have to grab and mix and unlock the doors. Like it's so Resident Evil. There's a door that you can't get into, so you need this mag key. So to get that key, then there's an underground section. There's like a secret section. It's just it's just cool. And there's a place that you can't get through until you go as Jill, so you get through it that way. And yeah, it's so cool. It's just perfect. So like, no, I wouldn't say it's because I binged it at all. It's just because of the way it was designed. And it's heads and tails, man. It's apples and oranges. This hospital section to like the rest of the game is just class.
So it goes back to horror.
It's full on. I think I say this is survival horror. This is proper survival horror. And you know what's weird is that with Carlos, at no point are you running out of ammo. No point. You're so comfortable with your ammo.
Because he's got that many hip packs and chest armor, which has got thousands of pockets.
Just because you're finding all this ammo, it gives you loads of ammo and health. So it's not even like, oh, I might run out of ammo, what am I going to do? It's just the way that level's designed, and it's the way they build her up. And you'll see, when you see it, you'll get what I mean. But it was perfect, absolutely perfect. So, does that answer your question?
Yeah, well, I was just about to say, we'll slightly a peek behind the curtain. We're recording this ahead of time, so.
Yeah.
And then, last but not least, score. Out of 10, if you will, please.
Yeah, so I gave her on the last episode when I was thinking about it, but I think I'll stick with it. I gave her a 7.5. Like Resident Evil 2 was about a 9, and this is a 7.5, and that's because the action's great. Carlos sections are amazing, but I feel like they missed so many opportunities with the game. It could have been amazing. But I just felt a few tweaks. I say a few tweaks. It probably would have, if they approached the game differently, I think is what for me personally, my opinion, if they approached the game differently, it could have been it could have equaled Resident Evil 2. But it did, I'd say on the whole, it felt like a DLC for Resident Evil 2.
Right.
You know.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with you. Like as if they were running concurrently.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I paid £20 for it, and I think, that's how much it's worth. I don't think it's worth 30 or 40 quid. It's a £20 game, I feel.
Right. Cool. Well, so I'd imagine you. Any final thoughts on it, or is that you?
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. Full on enjoyed it. It was a classic Resident Evil 2 game. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I was just I was expecting other things, so it left me a little bit disappointed. But I still loved it. I still thoroughly enjoyed play. It was made for a great let's play. So yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy with it.
That's good. So, sorry, final thought, last question. Anyway, would you recommend it to
Yeah,
anyone? To
yeah,
who's a Resi fan, Resi fan
if
or not?
a Resident Evil fan, yeah, I'd go give her a go. I'd just say to people, just give her a go. You will have fun playing it. 100% you'll have fun. It feels good. Like the actual gameplay is fine. Like it doesn't feel glitchy. You don't feel like stuck. You don't get like the feel of the game. It plays really, really well. And for someone who probably hasn't played the original, they'll really buzz off it. I think more than me. So yeah, I recommend it. I think it's like £20 in Argos now. So get it, 100%, buy it, and you'll spend 8 hours just having loads of fun.
Yeah, Capcom, if you're listening.
Yeah. Is there any final
Endorse us.
thoughts, Scotty, or is that?
No, that's that's it, mate. No. So as this goes out, that'll be the end of. Well, that's the end of Resi for you. I am definitely still playing Mortal Shell because
100%,
that
yeah.
game is solid, and I won't, as of right now, I don't know where I'd be at, but
That's a
I'd
weird
imagine
game, that one.
oh my,
It's so weird.
it's so hectic. But the thing is, as well, it doesn't look. From watching it from the outside, it doesn't look scary, but when you're playing it, and especially with headphones on,
Is it
it's
scary? Yeah.
it's so creepy. Like, because you just be standing there, like not doing anything. Like, say for instance, like I check my phone for 2 seconds, and like something will crack, like the wood will crack behind you, or
Ah,
like
sick.
there's an area I'm in now, and it's just stone. Like everything's made out of stone, like and rock, and like rocks split, like as if someone's just twisted a rock open, and it'll just make like that snapping noise, or
Wow.
like someone will breathe. Oh, it's horrible, but it's great.
Sick.
So yeah, and it's super hard as well. So I'm going after like getting all the shells and the weapons. I'll definitely be able to progress through it further. So well, that'll be me anyway. I'll still be playing Mortal Shell. How about you, Sean? What are you getting up to?
So I've been debating, but I think Outer Wilds. I think I'll be playing that. It's on sale now on the PlayStation. So, and I've been dying to play it. Heard great things, and it was only out for the Xbox. So it came out for the PlayStation. So, and I think that'll make a really good Let's Play. I know a little bit about it, but again, I haven't looked too much into it. I haven't watched any. I've watched a trailer and I've heard Filthy Casuals talk about it, and literally that's it. So yeah, I think I'll be giving that a whirl.
I've heard quite a lot of people talk about it. I listened to a dev interview about it as well, and he was talking about the game stuff. That it sounds super interesting. But like I'd imagine you're going to get super frustrated with it, and I'm going to love it.
Oh,
So
nice. Perfect. Perfect.
awesome. Well, I guess that's it for us. So I'll
Yeah.
see you on the next one, dude.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you.